Hey there, fantasy managers. This is Devo1099 with Fantasy Football Backers. We've got Game Week 30 coming up in the Premier League this week, and we've got some really great picks on Mondogoal. We're really excited about the team and the players that we've put together this week. We've shown some success there lately. I was able to pick up a seat to their big finale in the last week of the season of May. Really excited about that. That's my second seat. I'd like to pick up a couple more. It's going to be pretty cool. There's 15,000 pounds. Excuse me, 10,000 pounds, 30,000 total, 10,000 pounds to the winner. So that's some good money. That'll get you through the summer, allow you to travel a little bit. So really excited for that opportunity. Thanks to Mondogoal for putting the first really large prize in UK fantasy football out there, and they've got a great site going. So that's one of the reasons we're focused on them. I'm going to get right to it here. Game week 30 is pretty straightforward. There are a lot of options. There are a lot of good matchups. So a lot of it is going to depend on the values that Mondogoal is assigned and how we can fit as much talent as possible into our side to give us the best chance of making some money. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, starting with keeper. Joe Hart, Manchester City. He was absolutely outstanding in Barcelona this week. That alone makes you want to count on that form, and with the likes of Messi, Neymar, and Suarez firing at him and picking up 10 saves, I have a feeling he can handle Berahino, but remains to be seen. I like their chances. Now that they can focus on the Premier League, that they're going to come back and get a win at the Etihad. Fraser Forster is a little bit more expensive than Hart, with similar clean sheet probabilities. Realistically, I don't think you're going to take Forster or Hart because Hugo Lloris, his value has fallen through the floor. He is down to a mere £4.9 million, but he has Leicester coming to White Hart Lane. So I can't see myself taking anyone other than Lloris in, I would say, contests that are 20 teams or less. Your opponents are probably going to take Lloris as well. It's always good to save on a keeper who can get a clean sheet, and he's going to have that opportunity, even though Spurs' defense has been pretty poor. If you want to go a different direction for a differential, you could take Adrian from West Ham. Similarly priced, he's just about 900,000 pounds more. A little bit worse off as far as a clean sheet. He's missing some central defenders, which gives me a little bit of pause. As I said, I'll probably stick with Lloris. So moving on to defender. Two sets of defenders are particularly interesting, and those are West Ham, as I mentioned, and Southampton, as I mentioned with Forster. With Southampton, you're going to pay a little bit more and use a little bit more of your budget, but Nathaniel Klein and Ryan Bertrand are both fantastic options playing, the outer fullback and playing well of late. They were able to get that draw at Stamford Bridge, and both talented offensive players as well as defensive, and they have an opportunity to clean sheet and could pick up an assist or even a goal. So those two players are great options if you have the budget. If you don't have the budget, you need to save just a little bit. You can look at Aaron Cresswell and Carl Jenkinson from West Ham. As we mentioned, they have an opportunity for a clean sheet. This is the first real good opportunity they've had in a little while. They've had a rough fixture list here lately. Last two matches, Arsenal and Chelsea. So facing anyone, particularly the Sunderland Black Cats, with the turmoil they have with their manager, is going to be a bonus. So we really like Cresswell and Jenkinson. As we mentioned, there's some problems in the middle of their defense, and that could lead to some tough situations for Adrian. Hopefully he's up to task and can keep a clean sheet or at least just let in one goal. Other defender options that we are looking at: Hector Bellerin from Arsenal. He's going to be going away to Newcastle this week. He had a fantastic match against Monaco midweek, netted over 10 Mondogoal points. Should draw the start, but Wenger has been rotating his outer fullbacks quite a bit. May decide to give him a rest. So that's a little bit of a challenge. Still wouldn't blame you if you used him. If you have an opportunity and you used US dollars for Mondogoal, I don't know if everybody's familiar with this, but if you're playing in the UK and you've deposited in British pounds, you have to include the Manchester City West Brom match in your contest, which doesn't allow you to see the other matches team news before you select your lineup. So if you deposit in US dollars, and you don't have to be in the United States to do this, you can play in the matches that start with the second set of matches. So you knock off the Manchester City West Brom game. Those players aren't eligible, but you get to see all the team news for the next, I think, the 5 matches there. So that's a really nice bonus, especially if you can find some good value plays where, a cheaper option that might be in the £4 to £5 million range that you're able to get in to allow you to get some of the more expensive strikers this week. I'm going to move on. Actually, I'll mention the one differential that I had come up with: Matthew Loughton from Aston Villa. Villa has a chance at a clean sheet. Loughton has had over 6 fantasy points, which is all we would ask for from him in each of the past 3 game weeks. And Alan Hutton will be sitting out. He's got a yellow card ban, so he won't be eligible, which should firm up Loughton's place in the starting 11, and he's a decent option. In the midfield, we're going to start with Christian Eriksen. He hasn't been playing particularly well of late, bit of a goal drought. His assists haven't been there. If you dig a little bit deeper, though, he's still got a high number of key passes, which are passes that lead to a shot. It's just, as of right now, they're just not being finished, which is surprising with the breakout season that Harry Kane has had, that he's not finishing some of Eriksen's passes. But this is Leicester coming to town. Leicester's not particularly good on defense. Spurs are still really focused to try to win this match, and I think Eriksen is a fantastic option at just £9.9 million. He's more of an 11 or 12 million pound type player in this match, so you've got a little bit of extra budget there to play with. We're going to look at Stuart Downing, another player who hasn't performed quite as well of late, but as we mentioned, we really like West Ham's matchup this week against Sunderland. Downing, has been hurt by the fact that Carroll and Enner Valencia picked up injuries and haven't been available. Downing has been playing a bit more of a central role. I think sometimes he likes to get out to the wings, but this is a match where he should be able to facilitate some goals, whether he scores them himself or he is able to get it up to Diafra Sakho up front. We also like Yannick Bolasie. He had a great match last week, so he's no secret any longer. We didn't catch him last week. We probably should have seen it coming, but we weren't certain how things would shake out with Punchin and Zaha. It turns out Zaha and Bolasie had fantastic matches, and Punchin was a bit of a drain and then picked up an injury and will most likely not be playing this weekend. So that makes Bolasie a little bit more attractive despite a relatively difficult match away at Stoke. Next, we're looking at Aaron Ramsey. Rambo has been playing pretty well the last few matches. He had a goal and an assist, a couple of really nice plays with Giroud last weekend against West Ham, and then came off the bench to score the second goal for the Gunners against Monaco in France, or in Monaco, I should say. He's not as inexpensive as we'd like. So I can certainly see not using him. His position in the starting lineup is also not completely a given. So I still think I would probably risk him. I think that the fact that he came off the bench last midweek and isn't quite as run down as some of these other players on the side will allow Wenger to select him. Wenger likes to select players that are in form and scoring goals, and Ramsey's doing that. So I think he gets tapped. Would be very painful if he didn't. So if you're not able to play in the U.S. dollar accounts, then I can understand passing on him. Our differential, though, is Cesc Fabregas from Chelsea, which is a bit of a surprise that he's stooped to this level that we would have to mention him as a differential. But he hasn't done much in the last few weeks. We think that he's probably been a bit tired. All of Chelsea is a bit tired. Mourinho has chosen to play nearly the exact same starting 11 every match, and he's wearing them down. But this was one of the first weeks in quite some time that Chelsea didn't have any midweek matches. We think that the international break is going to do Fabregas quite well. I could see him not being eligible to play for Spain once again, which would be the second international break in a row that's the case. But Fabregas, he's bound to walk into a couple of assists here pretty soon, and an away match at Hull is not intimidating in the slightest. So we like Fabregas this week, and we like him as a differential because I'm not sure that many folks are going to be riding the poor form that he's had of late. Okay, now we're on to our strikers. Got to tell you, this week, I don't see how you couldn't fit in 3 strikers this week. There are so many fantastic options. Starting at the top, you've got Harry Kane and Sergio Aguero coming in just over 14 million pounds. We would side with Kane in this instance, solely because Aguero played midweek. We're not going to hold his missed penalty kick against him, but Kane is in great form and has a slightly easier matchup at home. Aguero is probably a better striker overall, but given those 2 factors, we're going to side with Kane. Could take both, but we like some of the other values that present themselves lower down. Charlie Austin at Loftus Road has been great this season. They're so dreadful away from home, but we don't need to take him away from home. We can take him at Loftus Road, and he has a decent opportunity to score against Everton, who, after what looked like they had turned it around quite a bit, gave up 5 goals earlier today, and have fallen right back into the rut they were in. I think Austin, might be slightly on the expensive side, but I think he's going to have his opportunities, and I will certainly be considering him for my side. Diego Costa is a mere 10.6 million pounds, one of the most likely goal scorers this weekend. Don't overthink this. Another gift from Mondogoal. He does have matches where he scores less than 2 Mondogoal points, so I do understand that they need to keep his value in check. I just think that in a match where Chelsea is going to score 2, 3, 4 goals, Costa is going to be involved. Next, and probably the best return on your budget spend is going to be Diafra Sakho at just 7.4 million pounds. He's the lone striker that West Ham. He's the last striker that West Ham has available. So yes, he's going to be alone. And they have as we mentioned several other times, they have a fantastic matchup with Sunderland, who's going to be using an interim manager, and who knows how they're going to show up for this one. But we like West Ham to get back on track, and we like Sakho to be the one leading the line in doing that. Last, and some people that, or sorry, some strikers that I didn't mention that I would probably be more than willing to use. Romelu Lukaku is expensive, but he's on a outstanding run right now. He is completely in form. You can look at Sturridge and Rooney. They're playing in a really, really important match. We just don't know which way that one is going to go, and we like some of these other options. Olivier Giroud, Benteke, both great options, and Aguero, as we mentioned earlier. So, but our differential, Shane Long, Southampton. He got his first start in quite some time in exchange for Graziano Pella, who is really struggling up top. But Southampton strikers get opportunities. That's one thing that Southampton can deliver. Long should have his chances up there if he's given another start. His first start was away at Stamford Bridge, which he's not the first striker to struggle in that situation. So giving him another chance against Burnley, we think that Koeman will do it, and we think that Long will come through, and his value is very reasonable at £5.7 million. I gave you Gabriel Agbonlahor in this same podcast a week ago. He scored 2 goals. I'm not saying Long will score 2 goals. I'm just saying it could happen. This is Devo1099 signing off for Fantasy Football Backers. Best of luck this weekend. Go out there, win some money. I want to see some of you in the Mondogoal Fantasy Championship in May. So go and punch your tickets. All right. Talk to you soon.